guys, I finally found my buddies. You won't believe it if I tell you. I found the best of the best, man. I did some research and managed to find this crap here. Your mind will be blown. So, the name of the work is... Wait, why do you want to know the name of the work, huh?
Not there. The year, folks, is 2040. There's a buff dude who represents everything and what's happening now, saying it's time for everyone to act, you know? That humanity is close to extinction. I just put in my hand. And then, just to show off a little, the guy goes, you get used to this because the guy always wants to do something. He's going to burst out of his shirt, right? But anyway, just taking a bit out of context, he explains to us what's happening, saying that the global regression is happening along with the social conflicts that don't have a... And everything is leading to a fall, you know? Then I thought, damn, the guy's talking about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is going to fall and then we can buy and all that. But no, it's not about Bitcoin. It's not. You're on the Virgin channel to be sure. It's not Bitcoin, folks. Indeed, also, I don't think so. Apparently, folks, the creation of virtual reality has ended the need to meet people. If you know what I mean, when I say to meet people, now people can satisfy themselves without needing to meet others, you know? There are even promotions with 50% off on toys. Yeah, little toys, yep. Little toys. That's it. Humans are gradually doing less to have more children, you know? And this has a huge global impact. The swimming thing, I forgot how to say it, man. I learned it in school, but I forgot how to say it anyway. No. It doesn't matter now. In summary, the buff guy explains to us that our population is rapidly declining, folks, and that some countries are already close to extinction. But however, our dear buff explainer and teacher also tells us that there is total recovery, folks. We can still prevent this, folks. We can just not lie here watching everything happen effortlessly while all the despair occurs, knowing we can solve the problem. Of course, they have a large global institute where they research the culture of pleasure among other people, and they are investing to try to reverse all this situation. But okay, what does that matter? But actually, he tells us that it really matters. We who are at home now can reverse this by showing that we have an interest in women, and now getting out of Minecraft to go after women, rascal. He said that? Obviously not, but I don't care. I couldn't care less, right? The version is narrating, I do it my own way. Then the prota, who is our protagonist, who is watching this announcement happening all over Earth, is looking at the cell phone on the phone, right? He's quite puzzled there, deciding what he's going to do with his life from now on, especially since he just graduated from university and can choose what he's going to do, right? But what kind of nonsense is this? Why does the guy have to take off his shirt to make a presentation that the world is ending? It doesn't make sense. Or is it that does? This is our protagonist, Yungara something. Just a protagonist, right? He is 26 years old, a graduate student at the National University of Seung something. And when he was on the truck there, bus, poor people's transport, which is what I use, you use, we use anyway. He ends up looking up and sees the place where it's the International Recording Institute. I just put it here in the kind of, you know, where everything is supposed to be reversed and made here, where everyone should meet with women or something like that, you know? As the year went by a lot, 2040, you can see, right? Everything here is technological. The protagonist goes into the corridors there and sees that they are very large and almost got lost inside, right? But also, how do you not get lost in this mess here? Even I'm lost here. And he thought to himself that even though, guys, being such a large research institute, he wonders, will there be a teacher like the one he had at school? If I tell you what the teacher was like, school, my friend, right? The woman would bring down the hammer on the students. Man, what a mess this is. Anyway, that doesn't matter much, right? What a crazy teacher. He just hopes there isn't a teacher like that who takes a ruler and gets mad and uses the ruler on the guy's butt, man. Could that really happen to him? I don't know, huh? To be remembering, it's because he's already experienced it. This swearing face here, I didn't see anything, right? He experienced the famous ruler in the butt. How long could it endure inside? Tell us. I don't want to know about that. And imagine him going into a room, I don't know which room it is, how he was able to escape that mess of life and also of that teacher of his, right? She probably used and abused the guy, but even so, he won't let this continue the way it is now, folks. He managed to get a letter of recommendation to be able to join this institution that he's in now. And of course, he thinks to himself that all of this will change. A new beginning, a new year. And now he will... Wait, why does the guy... What the heck is this here? The guy is putting his little thing on the sheet. What's this, man? The guy just arrived in the institution room where he's going to study, work, do everything, and he comes across the buff dude from the ad for...
What are you doing posing while... Oh no, dude, the Virgin's head is going to explode. Hold on, man. Let me breathe quickly.
I'll get back to it soon. Anyway. All I know is that in the middle of all that, the buff guy already gets a message from his watch saying that he collected his first dose of Orgazio, you know? So he can relax. And who did he use to collect this Orgazio? His secretary, right? But the protagonist was there on the other side. They're down on the ground wondering what the heck was happening. Wasn't it quite obvious? It is obvious but strange. Then the muscle guy notices the trouble, you know, glances at him and asks, "So what do you want here?" You know, even though he was the one who sent the letter of recommendation. And remembering a bit of that, he soon comments about this letter of recommendation and that he must be the new assistant starting today. Ah man, the protagonist gets pissed, right? Because the guy is just talking to him while he's got his thing out. So the protagonist tells him to put on some clothes. First for God's sake. And after some time passed, the guy goes and puts on some briefs. Then he starts telling the protagonist that he's sorry for the commotion that happened just now, especially because he was on duty. I don't know what his job is, but I don't even want to know, right? Duty. But would he like some coffee? So the protagonist accepts, right? Raises the cup saying, "Hey, give me some coffee. I need to drink it to relax." And man, get this view from here. Dude, when the protagonist puts the coffee in his mouth, he says the coffee has a somewhat unique taste in the place they're at. Then the guy becomes a bit alert, you know? Muscular guy, dude. Let me check this coffee here. Hang on a second. Let me see. Where is it? It's written on the label here. What is this? Let me see here. Hold on. It is
forbidden to enjoy because there are strange things and strange acts inside the key.
What that, man? Bam, the guy breaks the coffee bottle and tells the protagonist that they're going to work together now and they're going to be happy and whatever. And the protagonist was even going to ask why he threw the coffee bottle on the ground, right? But you don't want to know what was inside the bottle of K coffee. If I'm stuttering just because of what was inside the coffee bottle. If I tell you that the guy drank what was in there, I'm even scared. First of all, let's start the presentation, guys. He says our protagonist volunteered with the intention of reincarnating the memory of humanity's love from the past. In the old days, everyone managed to declare themselves to each other and have children and live happily ever after. But today that doesn't happen. Of course, he mentions the noble intention of our protagonist and that he is now a member of his research institute, folks. And that what he is pointing at is a special machine that he personally named, right? He called it Bachi. There, it's beating what? You wouldn't want to know, right? But they are going to embark to be able to attack and conduct their research. The protagonist doesn't understand what attacking or conducting means, but anyway, he continues his explanation saying that the machine essentially has 2 seats, but 4 people can fit inside in total, and someone goes with him to drive. Obviously the machine, right? And he can select 2 more people to go as well. Man, what's this, dude? The guy can't even remain normal in the damn presentation. The guy receives the message. Bastard, they're running me over too. I can't take it. There's too much information for the Virgin's head, guys. Anyway, the guy goes and takes off his shirt because he receives a message from his train saying it's time to cut the organ. Dar. I ugly today. Then the protagonist goes and asks, "Hey, how am I going to manage now? Come on, jerk, just figure it out because I'm working and I'm worried about the job now." Haha, the guy is working. But since the muscle-bound guy told the protagonist to figure out how to find their teacher, who will be their new teacher, and he will be her assistant, he searches all over the building. He almost dies of exhaustion trying to find out where she was, right? And finally, arriving in a room, he feels that it is as if everything happening in there was very bizarre. No, you're not just feeling it, my friend. You're also seeing it. Because what you're seeing here, I'm also seeing, and I'm almost going crazy. Trust me. But there's no chance, guys. Of course, he down and he doesn't want to go back to that psychopathic teacher who shoved the 25 centimeter in the guys, but right, my god, even I can't handle that. Can you handle 25 centimeters? Tell us, can you handle it or not? And at the end of that, he opened the door that was in front of him where his new teacher might be and be the assistant. About her, he couldn't go back, folks, but the problem was right there, you know, because he got inside and saw that everything was dark. He started touching things without understanding anything, like, what? Is there a switch here so I can turn on something? A light to see? But man, what is this do? Since it was all dark, he couldn't see. That's a fact. The guy ended up with his mouth on something. Soft. Just keep listening, Tifu. Then he starts touching the thing, right? Saying, why is this so soft like this? I don't get it. It feels like an inflatable doll being patpo. Then he starts feeling one side, feeling the other, saying this is probably made of some very plastic to be able to handle, elastic, I don't know what, right? And the funniest thing is, considering it's stretched, oh my, the elasticity of this thing too. It's probably some kind of rubber, silicone, or some kind of easy to move material, right? right? Then, man, when the light turns on automatically, I don't know how the light turns on. The guy was literally putting his finger down there of a girl who was lying on the bed. What was here? What the hell is this, man? And he thought the train was an inflatable toy, right? Then she wakes up asking who was there. Oh, that's in your private, that's in your privates. And on the other hand, we're going to be a bit of the protagonist, right? You remember the muscular guy who had work to do? Yes, he had to come. He was already a bit into business. That I'm not even going to say what it is. I need you don't even need to know. But he needs to collect, right? So he was working as a Coco team or thinking, and soon began to think that everything would soon happen as planned. Our protagonist would meet with the teacher, and they would go ahead to show humanity that they were on the brink of extinction. So the bar in my hand, oh, there, in the middle of that, he even gets splashed with some water in the face. So you can trust that what's flying in his face is water. Trust Vehan, right? You can believe that Veillon is right. We go back directly to his new teacher. And detail, right? Cute teacher, okay? If I tell you the amount of respect she has, you wouldn't even believe it. And she was asking who was there messing with him. He was even going to apologize, ask what was happening. But out of fear, he flew away from her. But she wasn't really paying much attention to him. She simply asked if it was morning, right? He flew over there to the hell box. He tried to apologize. And she took putting on your glasses and was approaching him, getting your attention, man. Wait, he can't even believe what's going to happen now. Will she approach him the way she is? She is undressed, guys. Everything he did to her could be an act of cruelty where he might end up in prison. Oh, Maria da Pena, I don't want to be arrested. Okay. But actually, what she wanted to ask was if by any chance he was her new assistant. That's all she wanted to know. She didn't want to know anything else. But since he was messed up in the situation, he got hit on the head by her. He didn't even see it coming when he realized, bam, damn, it even dented the guy's forehead. Hey, haha, I had a little problem, but from the hit she gave him on the head, it crushed, even caused a bump on his head and shattered the entire floor there, right? And she was asking why he was looking between her legs. The pricky, he was all over her. But that wasn't important. She was happy with another factor. He is her assistant, and now she has a new assistant, so she will have managed to continue her projects. And about this, she asks again to see if he will go back to normal. Are you my assistant or not? I hope we get along well together, and now you will be my slave. From here, the presentation, huh? Thanks, dear. But this one here, folks, is the doctor of I don't know what. Her age is a mystery. No one knows. She is from the Global Institute of Cultural Proximity Research of People. But the guy wasn't seeing anything, right? The dude was all passed out there drooling after the punch he took to the head. And the level of her punch was such that it made the guy trip, man. The guy just started imagining he was on vacation at the beach. Yeah, for him, he was lying on a beach chair thinking, man, it's been... How long has it been since I had a break like this, man? So much work until now. He couldn't really relax, but now he can. So he grabs a little thing with his cup that had coffee, then he starts drinking it, right? And in the middle of it, he tastes something strange in the cup of coffee. Very strange. Then he looks and says, what's written here on this cup on the label? I'll take a look. There's a different name. And when he goes to read what's written on the label of coffee, man, you see, this contains a kind of different system. This contains gas for I don't know what. So don't drink it because you taste, right? Whoa, at the exact moment he drinks it, he remembers the muscular dude there, the director of the academy, his prata, aguanum, my hand, and he quickly wakes up again. The teacher was in front of you trying to wake him up, right? And apparently he had a pretty eerie dream. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but now she's dressed, okay? She's not undressed anymore, she's dressed again. And to get him back to normal, she gave him a tap on the head again, right? So he'd come back to normal again. I think it's dangerous. The guy might already have trauma from so much head tapping. He hit him on the head, and soon she went directly to your workplace too, asking why he was screaming so much, whether he is going to get up or not, because they have work to do, and already calling him an assistant. There you go, our protagonist is now an assistant. Let's start calling him that too, right? Go loser, manage to the job now. But remembering all that, he soon remembers what the muscular guy told him, right guys? He would have a teacher and he would be her assistant to start easily, and she, who is very cute by the way, started fiddling with the machine there, which I don't know. What a PC is a poto? What this machine is that? There's no point in even asking me, right? Saying to him that they don't have much time to spare, so they need to make it work as quickly as possible. Then he gets up, starting to focus a bit more on the situation. He says, what kind of thing are you fixing there for us to work with, and what type of work do I have to do as well that I don't know? Huh? In the middle of him asking what kind of thing and type of work, she jumps on him all of a sudden, and he jumps down from there. Damn, he didn't even see when the woman jumped on him saying that he doesn't know the teleporter of temporal space. And I don't know what of the general. Wait a minute, man. Are you kidding me, dude? Is that a time machine? Where are they going with that time machine? But in short, yes, that apparently is a time machine that teleports you to time, right? There's nothing else to explain. And that thing apparently is called Mr. Bait. Mr. Bait. Not even I know how to say the name of that, but she will only explain it once to the protagonist. But he has to listen now. And with a very detailed explanation, she says that the machine for traveling to an alternative dimension, Bait, that's her name. So Sahei is the surname. The space-time travel machine called called Bait. Does she mention that wretched machine's name all the time? It can carry 4 people and can travel wherever you want. An activation of its engines can allow you to travel even from go back 400 years into the past before Christ. Wow, that's a lot. But tell me when that's going to be used. And she starts giving other weird explanations about it using fuel from
Dubious origin, right? But I'm not even going to comment on that. Where do they get the fuel from, right? Detail is the bulky guy who collects the fuel to put in the machine.
Damn, man. But that's the basic explanation, right? A time travel machine, that's all you need to understand. But all confused, the protagonist says, wait, hold on, calm down. I want to try to understand what she said now. She spoke so fast that even I didn't get it. If firstly, that is a time machine where they can travel through universes and return 4,000 years ago before Christ, doesn't that lab seem a little out of reality, for goodness sake? And another thing, how many people know they managed to create a time machine, right, guys? What does she plan to do with all that? She looks clueless. Like, what do you do with the time machine? Do you go back in time? Do you go for time? You don't create a time machine to have it idle. But alright. Since he understood nothing, she says he has to learn a lot more. So she doesn't need to explain anything else from here. She just said what it was and that's enough. Now let's work. Shut up. Just do what I'm telling you. Heading toward the big screen, she says that's basically what he wants to know. There it's extracting and he should see what's being extracted from that big screen, guys. And what is behind that? Screen man. The guy takes a look to see if he can somewhat understand what he was asking there. And my friend, what were they extracting to use as fuel in that darn machine, man? The rookie's mind couldn't handle it, guys. Basically, they extract over 80% of everything that the women produce there with their partners. That's the summary of the experiment. Wait, let me ask quickly. Let me see if I understood. What are they doing? They're having sex to be able to get fuel for the machine? No, definitely not Bodhi. Soon she says that he must have seen there that the little guy who is the manager of the whole institute, who is the muscular guy in this case, he does that himself. He himself extracts all that kind of suspicious content to be used as a fuel for the machine. Of course, he must have already seen it and it was the first thing he saw when she got there. But is that it, guys? She starts thinking a bit more. She starts taking off her jacket. I don't know why she takes off the jacket, but she asks if maybe they can extract it from him too, you know? The guy quickly responds, wait a minute, let me see, are you going to extract that from me too? I'm not sure what you want to do with me too? With her cute little face, she asks if he wants to try the fuel they take out to put in the machine. You know, I don't know what this machine does, but I'm already wanting to join this contribution too, guys. However, instead of the protagonist saying anything, he says nothing. The guy freezes and stares at her for about half an hour without answering, and at the end of that, he even asks if it's serious, but it's your first time, and she even laughs in his face when she finds out that he's a virgin. A laugh is intense, right? Because the guy starts bursting into laughter, telling the teacher that, my God, he talks, but he's literally a big virgin in life. How is he going to time travel if he's a big virgin, man? What kind of guy is this that wants to join the institute over there? In short, she started laughing and laughing more and more at you, saying that it's nothing personal, but she's just laughing because it's really funny to see him trying to work with this kind of thing, even though he's never seen it in his life. And she even comments that he's a bit cute, right? Despite everything. Then the guy is kind of like that. Confused. She started laughing at his face, explained about the time machine. The buff guy started hooking up with a woman that I don't even know who she is, who was his secretary. He said, right? Okay, besides that, his day is going calmly, right? You can understand everything. But back to work. She says that anyway, all this fuel they need to put in the machine is only produced from people's bodies, you know? living people. And usually it disappears after being produced in traces, which I don't know what it is, but when this so-called fuel detects this very vague thing called life force, a material is produced in mass biomarvel, which I also don't know what it is, but I'm getting it. Then the protagonist asked what that material was, then she told us what it was, you know? She also said that they've been saying it exists since humans started doing it, since the time they were born, you know? Adam and Eve back then probably already did it, and you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't need to give more detail. Technology enough to be able to detect all this kind of things, so it's obvious that this is from the ancestor, the ancestor, the ancestor, the ancestor. Besides, they recently discovered that this material, folks, is much superior compared to the raw materials that exist in terms of pollution, cost, and efficiency. Yes, you understood me correctly. The disgrace of what the fuel these guys make is a type of renewable material, you know? I don't know, this Monrad is going way beyond, man. This author is quite self-explanatory. Thank you, Monrad, but sum this up a bit. It needs to be collected quickly. If it is not collected quickly, you might lose the material. And literally, it doesn't have a long usage time, meaning it appears quickly even if you collect it fast. Anyway, your research involves extraction and exploration of this material. That's all you need to understand. Okay, but he asked, so...
How come then kid was be kira po man comedy for God's sake, cause she gave an incredible explanation for the guy to understand what she's talking about, what's happening, and the guy still asks what's happening, man. But this makes him kind of embarrassed, asking hesitantly, saying that,
So, what are you doing with all these extractions and what is this stuff for? Damn the woman.
She just finished explaining, son of a... He was about to comment that everyone in that institute is crazy, guys, but she put her little finger right on his mouth. Hopefully she didn't put that little finger somewhere else, but what is he going to say now? That, oh, it's wrong, I don't know what, even though they have permission to do this. And my young grasshopper, do you really want to know what our institute does? I'm going to quickly explain what the importance of what we are doing here. Then says they want to know, right, guys? I wonder if she wants... Show us? Okay, just take a look at this button. I'm going to press here and then magic will happen. See, look. Quickly in... The time travel machine quickly begins to open, guys. And she keeps telling us, saying they have little time. So it will be better if she shows him personally. The question is, why is humanity falling right now? Yes, this question has always been asked, but she answers it herself by saying it's because the various world races and their social relations are also declining. So, all of this makes sense in terms of her explaining why they work that way. Then she would climb into the machine, but her behind is so big that it almost couldn't fit through the machine's door, right? But no, the protagonist definitely didn't see her entering the machine like that. Definitely not. And about that, she also says that without interpersonal relationships, like people dating, well, you get the summary, the culture literally dies. And so their culture of staying together and having children will also end up disappearing. And then people disappear, the world starts decaying from the human side, and there are no more people, and it's over. But people weren't like this before, folks. They weren't like this. People practiced this a lot in the old days and very frequently, okay? Because my grandmother had about 500 children. I'm not even kidding. Story. So what is the answer to all these, guys? Tell us, newbie, what do we need to do? Well, I don't know, but basically they go to after Christ in the year 1383. Before Christ, after Asph, I don't know, man, how to say it here, but they go to a place called Papua New Guinea something or other. China, apparently. Quite an eerie name, right? But they are going to look for answers in history where the culture emerged, folks. Yes, you didn't misunderstand me. The culture of having 500 children per woman emerged. Let's go. The guy starts getting more puzzled, right? Even because, wait a minute, man, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? This woman wants to take it to the past to show when the culture emerged in a machine that he doesn't even know if it really works. Hahaha, just take a look, dude. I'm going to pull this handle here and you'll see the magic happen. Just watch. He really thought the machine wouldn't work, but at the last minute, the machine goes and traps him there, looking like those little things from amusement park, right? That was going to trap him too, right? That's when he really starts to panic and begin screaming in fear, thinking, I can't believe this, what's happening here, I'm going to die. And the machine saying that the launch authorization code was issued by some representative and let's launch. And he asked her if she could at least explain more about what this machine actually does, because he's very scared of dying inside this machine. But she said, I'm going to click here. See, then we might end up showing up in the damned bog. And the machine had already started, what? The countdown, 19, I don't know what, 20, and Leo scared, shouting, and she with her finger already ready to press launch the tented to the family the tension filling the air and click.
She clicked, no, and in the end she said he really doesn't believe her, guys. Well, of course, she's your teacher. Of course, you can relax. Nothing bad will
happen. Not to mention she is known worldwide, right? Chill out, man. At that moment, he kind of froze because she said something more relaxing. Relaxing, haha. When he was about to say something to her like, seriously, the world knows you, come on. The guy starts shaking from side to side and came out of the dimension there, all crazy. I don't even understand what happened, but in summary, all this strange thing is happening. Guess what?
John is going to tell you what's happening. It's going to the past. Wow, I guessed it. I'm very smart, damn. So I don't know if it counts as a detail, but I'm going to say it because I found it very funny, man. The Institute, it has a somewhat suspicious shape. It literally looks like that, you know? Then the machine flies over from the top of the head of the Institute's roof. Anyway, man, you already understood the summary of this crap here.
I'm not even going to say anything else. And you know who was watching them leak directly to the past to show the protagonist how everything works? The buff guy who was there, stripping terror, right? I don't know why, damn, and with a coffee in hand. Other than that, it's great. And that's how, guys, he ended up in the middle of nowhere, right? The dude was already in the middle of the North Pole. Big guy, freezing like crazy. They went straight on a trip to the year 1912. How did they end up there? Not, I don't know, but it's the North Pole. That's all that matters. The protagonist was almost dying from the cold. His nose couldn't even run properly, you know? The stuff would freeze as it came out of his nose. He even yelled at the teacher, asking why they ended up there. Not to mention it's freezing. They could have sent them to a warmer place, for heaven's sake. What if they die from the cold there? But she says they can't go back now. He has to stop being weak and embrace the whole experience. You know what? But then she starts pointing forward, seeming like some footprints or people. I don't know. This bunch of scribbles here doesn't look like anything to me, but I saw it anyway. I'm just saying. Then she says they're there, and he found everyone who was ahead, right? The protagonist already starts removing his hat, thinking that we've arrived, it's over, right? It's all good. And when they finally get there, guys, it really was people, not just little black dots in the middle of the hill. Oh no, it was indeed people, and very eerie people, because when they get closer to take a look at their faces. Crazy scared they get. Then the protagonist even asks her if things are really going to work out, right? Because apparently these guys have a kind of, you know, what if they chop us up, put us in a pot, and start doing some intense ritual, you know? You can't be sure. But relax, she says it will be fine, no need to be afraid, they are civilized, they really talk to people, so rest assured that we won't be thrown into the pot. Trust?
And I was about to mention that the story is different, that everything will be fine, but guys, just as she was going to talk about the story, which is exactly the same, they start shooting arrows in their direction, man. Yeah, it'll be fine, really, you can trust, nothing will go wrong. And guess what? In the end, both were caught by the whole tribe. Oh, what a bunch.
Like a fool, man. He was already tangled in the ropes, all messed up. The protagonist even shouted at her, "What the hell is going on? Can't you see we're stuck in this mess now? I told you we were going to die in this crap." "What, dude?" She comments in another reply that he's very pessimistic, right, guys? Especially since he dares to call this crap that happened in life. "No, this is just a twist of fate. It can trust that we won't be killed and tossed into a pot." I remember the last time I heard that, and now I'm stuck in this mess. Congratulations to me, stupid fool. And in the middle of that, guys, he sees a girl, very pretty, man, from the tribe who was among the guys there. Really good looking people, I'm not going to lie. Really amazing, or well designed, right? It's up to your point of view, but his vision was kind of closing up because she was among the adults there, so it was hard to see. Dude, what kind of mess is that teacher doing, man? She goes and starts messing with the radio. I don't know what the heck she's doing there. That was among her melons. What are you doing there? I don't understand. What are you taking out? The brilliant idea she had was to take a little rubber toy out from inside the melons. For what purpose? What is it for? I'm going to pretend I don't know, because if I know that I know, I'll go crazy, right? But in summary, they can use that device as a translator to be able to talk with other people. Then comes the question, why does the toy look like a toy when it is a translator? I don't know, but it is a toy and is a translator. Apparently, no matter the time or era, that translator will manage to translate everything, right, folks? They'll be able to talk to everyone there. Then what seems to be the village chief starts telling them to be quiet. So it means it worked because they were commenting on something they didn't even understand. Now they do understand the most. It's funny or really bizarre. It's just the way she manages to translate what they are saying, dude. She puts the thing in her mouth. Ooh, how disgusting. Then everyone in the village started wondering what the heck she was doing, you know? The guys weren't understanding anything.
This crazy woman who came from another dimension, I also don't get what she's doing. Then the protagonist started looking around and looked at her, right? After all, it seems like they're curious and stopped wanting to kill the guys. Then he tells her to continue and that what they could do is right. But when he saw more closely what
she was doing, he was even startled. But she says she's testing the microphone. That's why she's putting the thing inside her mouth, dude. What's up with that? What a strange microphone test. Seriously, I've never seen anything like it in my life. In the middle of that, someone said they know how to get attention. Then arrived...
They're attracting the attention of those two there because the guy commented. But it wasn't a guy. Actually, it was a lady, an elderly woman apparently, saying that as she thought they are foreigners and are trying to communicate with him. And they are not trying to end up in the middle of those guys.
Apparently. However, she says that the story is different, like that horn making sounds, you know, that she's putting in her mouth and the lady thinks it's a horn. Anyway, the lady is innocent and doesn't understand what that misery is, right? I also didn't want to understand. Then Proto even starts talking about what she's talking about, like that. And when looking more closely at that whole situation there, observing the old lady, our teacher has to come up with an idea to see if they can get out of their current situation, right? And show that they are not enemies. In fact, they are there to be able to preserve all their community, you know. They have no intention of hurting the folks here. So she starts telling them what they are really going to do there, saying that however they are excited to cross the vast region and that they could communicate with them to make them feel more at ease there, and that they would be grateful if they could help them in some way, but that doesn't really matter much.
But bro, after our teacher starts talking to the old lady there, asking for help to stay at home, since then the old lady freezes. She even gets a serious face, you know? Because they won't easily let the guys in like that. Although I think this thing here is an old lady, right? Maybe it's a guy too. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going crazy in this thing. This world is all upside down, you know?
Worse than the real world in this misery too.
Then out of nowhere, the old lady starts laughing, letting out a really big laugh, right? Nobody doesn't understand anything, and saying in the end that she's very sorry about all that and that nothing will happen to him and that they're meeting in a kind of bizarre way. But he can stay calm. Of course, they can let those kinds of people come to his house and that they've had some conflicts with neighbors there. So because of that, they're afraid of certain people coming from outside, and she believes they're a bit sensitive about it too, but it's all good.
At the end of all that, guess what? Time went by, they were in the tent of that tribe. Si San si
Medieval son. I don't know how to say the name of that tribe. That there was even a name there, but I've already forgotten the damn name, right? Anyway, Virhau and his crazy head that forgets things, and Proto was trying to swing his arm and make his arm go back into place. Well,
he was tied up for so long that even his little arm hurt. Again, the teacher was trying to communicate with the old woman from the village, and about that he looked at her and came up saying that maybe they could live a little in that village, even because they are starting to communicate reasonably. Is it really working? No.
I know. I just know that, folks, our teacher introduces us to the protagonist and these two beautiful women, saying that they should also thank them as they are residents there, so they can stay and know in the where? At her house. And they said that the others would go out hunting so they can stay very comfortably at her house. The girl that Proto saw there, who was in the middle of the crowd and disappeared, was this one, man. Just by her face you can tell, right? Beautiful.
But Ted, I would boy can Bob. She's beautiful. He even remembers that she's the girl from before, right? And he waves to her and gets a wave back. All goofy. You can tell he's a virgin just from his reaction, right?
My friend. And about that, she was getting closer and closer to him there, and he saw that she has a translation device. Choker, which is on the neck too, you see, right? Choker. So obviously she will be able to understand what he says, and he will be able to talk to her, and she to him anyway. She got all curious there, touching the choker, saying there's something stuck in the throat. I don't know, because for her it's something different, right? Different cultures, different times. Anyway, you know. They went back to the past. But even going back to the past, my friend, right? She introduces herself, striking a pose and saying her name is Naili, descendant of the 17th generation from the village, right? Which I don't know obviously what it means, but we understand it. It's part of it. And the other one over there, guys, apparently is the sister. And sister. Hey, dude. Turma, she says her name is Lela. Lela. I don't even know how to say her name, but she says it's nice to meet you, and that's it, you know? I wanted her for free, as a gift. Anyone who can give it to the virgin, I accept. And she was so excited that out of nowhere, she jumped on the protagonist quickly there, saying she wants to show her brother-in-law.
from her who went hunting. Brother-in-law, ahahaha, brother-in-law. And obviously, she's already holding the protagonist's hand, saying, what's your name? Can I talk to you? Where are you from? Where do you live? Where are you staying so we can talk? Of course, she doesn't speak like that, right? I'm exaggerating too. But soon you could already see, right? The teacher herself noticed that our protagonist managed to make friends. And when our little mediator glances to the side and sees the teacher looking at him and is kind of, like already getting jealous. She doesn't even know the guy well, dude. But the aim, guys, it's clear that's what she wanted. This girl is already interested in him, guys. That's the mission objective. And about that, quickly she started pulling the protagonist's hand, saying they should go to the hunts and visit other people to see how everything works and whatnot. So come with me there, damn it. Everything. And she wanted to pull the guy to walk. That's the summary. In the middle of that, she really managed to pull our protagonist, but your sister yells to Nella there. That is Nelly, Nali, Nella, the girl there. Man, you can't even say the name of these girls, all weird in this mess. Saying to be very careful because something bad might happen if not, but do you think she cares? All happy the way she is here. She's not really worried about what will happen, right? All I know is that later, almost at night, they were still in that village. Our protagonist apparently had returned and gone inside the cabin there, saying he was tired from walking so much. He got into a time machine, went I don't know where with our teacher, got screwed, and today, dude, was a really crazy day. To give you an idea, the girl took him fishing, and where did the fish get caught? I don't even know who caught whom, whether it was him or the fish. I'm thinking it was the fish that caught the worm there, you know. She started laughing at his face after that happened, and apparently she liked him, right, guys? But putting that aside, he himself even mentioned that the trip wasn't so bad, and out of nowhere, she shows up at the cabin, pulling the small curtain that closes the cabin door, asking if she could come in, guys. And my friend, right? Have you seen what's happening here? She comes into the cabin in the middle of the night. What? That? And when she got inside, she was already dressed. And when I say dressed, it's because she wasn't dressed anyway, you guys. Understood. And just the way she was, she said a few words, sat next to him, saying that your sister told her not to enter the guest room without permission. And the protagonist even gives a little weak laugh to her, because if your sister warned, why did you enter my room here? Mischief, right? And out of nowhere, in the middle of that, they both stopped talking and no one said nothing. Not even an A or a B there. He paused in the middle of it to think, and what a strange vibe this is, that she suddenly showed up and her sister told her not to go talk, but she did anyway. What's she doing there? But the guy just doesn't get it, does he? Because I've already figured everything out. The virgin is quick with lip reading, man. The virgin is intelligent, not to mention she was excited the whole day. And look at how she is now. Why is she so quiet next to him now? Then he tries to start a conversation because he has to say something, right? It's weird to stay quiet with a girl next to you. So he goes and asks about the doctor, where she went, your teacher there who she knows. The funniest part is that she really asked who the doctor was, and he had to explain who the doctor was. It's that teacher who was with me. You don't remember? Woman in her 40s, pretty too, except for the part. Do melon there, that's really big but beautiful, has a somewhat extreme personality and is actually pretty cool. And it's where both almost met there. You know, in the middle of the conversation, it was already moving forward, right? Our dear loser is making progress. She became curious and asked the protagonist if the doctor and the protagonist were married. The guy, surprised, spit out his coffee or whatever drink he was having, feeling embarrassed, right? And he asked why she was asking him that, right? In response, she said they seemed very close. So for that reason, she's asking out of curiosity. Wow, that's when the guy started to get even more flustered, right? She's asking out of curiosity, and maybe it's all in his head, but none of this happened in his life before, guys. This is quite different. So do you have any idea that he came from a world where nothing and no one meet? And after saying that, guys, she asked if it was serious that they weren't together. Hey, look at the little giggle she gives. In memory, she acts all smart, right? And she grabs his arm, already moving forward, because she knows that both do not they are together. But then he tried to he said no, Nelly, calm down, it's cold here, so you should put on bigger clothes, calm down, go back to your room, go to sleep. Oh darn, guy, man, the dude seems like he's dumb. It's not possible. Oh darn. But she grabbed, threw his arm up, squeezed his arm, saying that when they grow up, they have to know how to contribute to the sharing of their hunting and domestic work. I don't know why she's saying this, but she mentions that to be recognized as a member of the tribe, guys, things need to be done the way they are. Done there, but he asks why she is saying that, and it seems fascinating, but I think we shouldn't talk about this now. Meanwhile, hold on. There.
She says that now she has become a quite recognized soul, folks, and that she has to choose people who will have great roots to be able to have their descendants, who are people she will raise. And there it goes, right? The girl went ahead and took his hand right in her million there, saying she also had her coming of age ceremony last month and now she can do whatever she wants because she's of age, right? Then you've already seen the summary from the opera. He was going to mention that it's dangerous, but she taps the bed saying, no, come here quickly by my side. I don't bite. Don't worry. The tooth is that small. And that she even says that ever since she saw the protagonist, guys, she felt a strong attraction. Feel the soul coming to our protagonist, wanting to protect her land. So she's speaking the way they speak there, right? That he wants to protect her land and whatnot, the strong feeling and all that. But obviously, he didn't understand the thing she said here, much less me. But in short, it's she wants, you want to give. That's all you need to understand. It's ready, problem solved, summarized soul for you all.